Okay, welcome everyone. Brittany Brown here, founder and creator over at Eating Binge Eating, and I am here with Nancy. Nancy, thank you so much for being here with us.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So normally we do these interviews with graduates of our program. However, Nancy got such quick results so fast in our program. She's currently working with us at about 9 weeks in that I still thought it would be cool to kind of interview her. And she talked with someone on my team. We thought it'd be really awesome to interview her because she could share her story and some tips and things that allowed her to really stop binge eating very, very quickly. So you can learn from those too. And I think a cool thing with you, Nancy, is you've definitely done a lot of programs and tried a lot of things. And there was something about your work with us that really just allowed it to click and pop off. And I think that'll be really awesome to share with anyone watching this today. So yes, welcome to the call and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So where to start? I'd love to just hear like a snapshot of where you were at before this last 9 weeks with us. Like, I know you'd been on a journey, different programs, healing your relationship with food, and then you decided to make the call and jump in with us. So, like, what drove you to do that? Where were you before you started?
So before I joined you, it's been years and years, 20 plus years of this diet, that diet, seeing results, but yo-yoing. Um, Most of that time, some type of restriction, whether it was restricting calories or it was restricting food groups, mostly carbs for me. And I never quite got to where I felt like I wanted to be. And I was tired of it. I mean, I just wanted to live my life and not focus on food. And, after hearing some interviews with you and, reading some of your material, I just knew I almost kind of felt a calling. I just really felt like it was the answer when I heard you say you have to heal your relationship with food first, and you could help me do that, and then everything else falls into place after that. And that's what really resonated with me. Learning how to stop that overeating or stop that binging is, I felt like that was my starting place, and that's how you explained your program. So
Yeah, I love that. And one thing I want to highlight, I think there's different things that really resonate to different people, right? And what you're talking about is probably going to resonate specifically to the person out there who's tried therapy, maybe tried other programs, done like the emotional eating stuff, maybe heard from other experts that your relationship with food is because of something that happened to you when you were a child, some emotional issue, some trauma. And yes, those things can trigger eating, right? Emotions can trigger eating. I would never deny that. And I would never make those things wrong. And I'm not knocking therapy. I think some people with certain mental conditions that could really benefit from it. So disclaimer there. But what I will say is that, someone in your position with this survival mechanisms that you had activated that were driving you to eat and driving you to think about food, no matter what kind of deeper work you did, that physiological thing was still happening. That
yes.
was driving you to eat. And it was almost like a wild goose chase, kind of trying to heal those other things instead of like, hey, let's get the objective piece handled. And from watching your journey, I feel like that was the thing that really worked for you, like really, really landed, like got you out of this mode. You were able to stop your binges really quickly.
Yeah.
Does that resonate with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Starting off early with you and learning about the science and the physical piece, if you will, about the binge and or the overeating, and how they start and then how they become habits. Something that stuck out to me early on was in your teachings, you talk about, you might binge for the first time or overeat. And it kind of brings out that rebel in you. And I remember the very first time that I binged, and that's exactly how I felt. And I'm like, wow, that's exactly nailing my history. And then, maybe you do it again, and then the pattern starts to occur more often. And then it's a habit that you just can't get out of.
Yeah, and then we try to diet and control our eating to get
Right.
out of it, and we solidify the habit more with that. So yeah, I'm with you, and I think when you've been on a journey for a while, it helps to just get very like black and white almost about it and objective and get you back in your power really quickly. So okay, so where 9 weeks later, you jumped in with us. You poured yourself into the program, right? 9 weeks later, where are you at? What does your relationship with food in your body look like?
So my relationship with food, I would say, is normal. I mean, I liked healthy foods, but it was really the restriction for me. I wouldn't eat fruit, or if I ate fruit, it was the very low sugar fruit. And I wasn't eating carbs for the most part at all. Not even, I really like Ezekiel bread and I really like oatmeal and brown rice, but I wasn't even eating that. So, after getting through the first module or two with you, that's just where I started. I really like bananas and I wouldn't eat them. So I incorporated.
Bananas just popped into my brain when you
Really?
said sugary foods. I'm like, or when you said sugary fruits, I'm like, she was living life without bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the first, I would say 2 weeks or so, I had a banana every day with my breakfast. I incorporated it in. Um, I was having, Ezekiel bread if I wanted bread, brown rice, beans. I mean, I wasn't even eating beans. And so I just started incorporating those types of things with each meal. And I was a different person after about after about a week. And then you know what? If I don't have a banana, I don't have a banana. I'm fine now. If I go to the store and they look good to me, I'll grab them. This week my breakfast has been overnight oats and with walnuts and chia seeds. It's so yummy, and then egg whites for some extra protein. And I love it. And I would have never had oatmeal every day before finding you.
Gotcha. Go you. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to highlight one thing here. So it's not like you had to have this 50-step process to stop your binges.
No.
A big thing for you, like you noticed, and by the way, for those listening who aren't in our program, you do get a toolkit to stop your urges in their tracks. It's not 50 steps. It's not this long, difficult thing. But so you were able, like, you really got to a place fast where you just weren't having urges to binge. And that came from like eating adequately and caring for yourself and really dropping from your head and connecting with what you need and feeding yourself, it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't really, you teach us to just take restriction off the table. And other than maybe a piece of dark chocolate here or there, I didn't have any crazy cravings. Like I like salty, crunchy, but I wasn't even having any crazy cravings for those. Maybe I would grab a handful of pretzels or a handful of crackers with my snack, but I just immediately, once that restriction was lifted, I I just wanted to live with, for me, they were the healthier choices in terms of eating carbs, and I'm just so content. It was like you
Gotcha.
waved a magic wand over my head.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And I think a really cool thing for people who are listening, they hear about a program like ours and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to give up dieting. I'm going to eat anything and everything. I'm going to lose control on the chocolate and all the forbidden foods. I'm going to gain a bunch of weight. And I feel like you're a testament to like, no, that doesn't have to happen, right? So
No.
your experience is like, yeah, share your experience. So you try this whole releasing restriction thing, and were you pulled more to food or less to food once you did it the way we outlined it?
I would say I wasn't pulled one way or the other, but I noticed like nighttime eating was big for me. And sometimes I would be hungry, or sometimes maybe I thought I was hungry. But once I started incorporating, some larger meals that were balanced, I can count on one hand, since I started your program, I can literally count on one hand how many times I have eaten at night after dinner. Because it just, the want has gone away and I feel satisfied and nourished, and it, I don't know, I guess I'm getting the satisfaction during the day and into the evening that want just isn't there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. That's so, so, so powerful. Magic wand waved. Yeah, it's amazing when you see this happen. And so, so, so cool. So yeah, so by releasing restriction, right? Your survival mechanisms quiet, and your pull to food, your pull to nighttime eating, which is so common for so many women, over time, in a quick time, went down, which is really cool. So I love that. So, okay. So besides releasing restriction, because I know that was a really big piece of your journey, any
Yes.
other tools in the food department, even if it's not food related, maybe it was like what you learned about the brain science, the urges, whatever that might be, anything else that really stuck out to you that like just kind of landed and clicked that allowed the shift to happen so quickly?
Yeah, definitely. Writing the letter to our bodies, um, it made me realize that, I started dancing when I was 5. So, and then I was a cheerleader as well growing up. So it made me realize that since I was, I don't know, 7 or 8, that I never was happy with my body. And I always compared myself to other people. And the body that I have, I've worked for and worked really hard, too hard for it. But that writing that letter was eye-opening because it made me realize how I've never embraced myself or my body or how I looked without judgment. So that definitely early on too started to help me build that relationship with that self-love of my body.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that partnership and self-love, it
for
sounds like.
sure. Yeah, some other tools, I really just doing the work, watching the teachings, working on the questions and the homework, I would call it, listening to your coaching, they all just flow. And if I had a question somewhere, miraculously, it got answered for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's been a couple ahas along the way, knowing you can have this food at any moment. Do you want it now? Or do you want more than a serving? And the other piece is around exercise and working out. And, I no longer exercise or work out to punish myself. That is completely over. And something that Stella said that has really stuck with me the day she hosted our call was, when you wake up in the morning, because I'm a morning workout person for the most part, how does your body feel? And knowing that any exercise or any workout burns the same amount of calories, what does my body want to do today? So that really resonated with me as well. And so everything just kind of started working synergistically.
I love that. Yeah, it's this it's like a self-reference versus referencing what the workout plan says, what the meal plan says. It's like really building that connection to self,
Mm-hmm.
your connection to your body, and making these decisions as you go through the world, like connected to you and what really honors you. So
Yeah.
I love that. So, so, so powerful. So, okay. And, another thing is like, I know you've done a lot of work, right? You've tried the whole diet route, obviously. Then I know you've done some programs that were like the deeper emotional work and doing that. What do you feel like really made this one have everything like fall together, or not fall together, come together and click for you? Like what was different with us than maybe some of those other things that you try?
I think the biggest difference for me was how you address the food piece first. That was definitely what I needed. And I have done other programs and some, emotional work. So, I think I might have been maybe a little bit in a better place and more ready to accept it or take it on. And maybe that's why I took to the program so quickly. But that was really addressing that piece first was exactly what I needed.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's important too. It's like it's the food, but it's the physiological component, really. Like it's
Yeah.
because, without going too much into it, for anyone watching, it's operating under the principle that we could do all the deep emotional work, all the breakthrough work, have the best therapist, the best coach, the best plan, the best tools. But if our brain and body are almost like wired, so to speak, programmed to seek out food, or at the end of the day, our physiology is going to win. It's not a willpower problem, right? It's
Yeah.
this physiological problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you taught me that there's nothing wrong with me. All these years, I just felt like I was broken. And this was how I was going to have to live the rest of my life. And um, early on in the program, learning about the science side of the primal brain, and it made me realize that I'm not broken, and that really wasn't me in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And no, you're not broken. No one is that struggles with this. And that's a big, yeah, it's like when we can get objective and just take
Yes.
we're already so hard on ourselves, right? And I know when I was struggling, I was like so hard on myself. We don't need more of that. When we really understand what's happening and can take some pressure off of ourselves and just really get to this place where we can like get these quick wins fast. And when I first started coaching, I did do the deeper emotional stuff first, and I found that like we would get these breakthroughs, but it was breakthrough then binge, then breakthrough then binge. It was always going back. But as soon as we switch things to where we handle the physiology first, then do the partnership with the body, then go do some of the deeper work, it's like everything really started working and coming together. And then I built this program around that. So yeah, this is amazing, Nancy. I love this insight for sure. Anyone, like, I know you were, a subscriber or a follower, whatever, I don't know what to call it. You were in our tribe, let's call it that.
Yeah.
For like months before jumping on a call and having that not welcome call, that almost like consultation, our breakthrough calls with Stella. And there's other people who have been with us for a year or two who are just kind of like on the fence. They kind of want to do a call. They're not sure. What would you say to anyone that's maybe on the fence about scheduling a call, or maybe just like landing on this video randomly for the first time, doesn't know anything about us? Any words of encouragement, because they're probably feeling pretty stuck,
Yeah. Well, for anyone that just lands on the video for the first time by accident, I would just say if you have any type of issues or problems with food and overeating and restriction, definitely keep watching and following Brittany and see what she has to offer. But for me, you know what? I actually forgot the other part of the question.
It's okay. I asked too many things at once. It was just kind of, I was talking to how you had been like in our tribe for a while, and to anyone else who maybe has been like watching our stuff for a while, who might be on the fence about scheduling that first breakthrough call. Yeah. Any words of wisdom for them?
Yeah, schedule the call because um, I kept feeling a pull towards you and the program. Um, and I watched for about 4 or 5 months, and I scheduled the call. And I'm not going to lie, it has been a really busy 9 weeks. Your program is intense. And I'm in a new job that's I'm still trying to wrap my arms around. So between that and I wanted to keep up with the work for your program, it's been nonstop. It's a lot of work, but it is so worth it because I just feel like no matter what, I will have food freedom forever, and I will have the program to always come back on. And my sisters in the tribe that I've met along the way, the ones that are ahead of me and the ones that are behind me. So it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Food freedom forever. Yes. Totally, totally possible. Yeah, that's beautiful, Nancy. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think, just a testament to the amount of work. Yeah, you've really poured yourself into it and just showed up fully, which I think just showed like, and then look at your results. You've transcended your biggest struggle with food, and that leads to freedom in so many areas of
Mhm.
life when we're not focused on food and binge eating and things like that. Anything you've noticed like outside of the food realm, like as far as shifts in your life?
I think I'm far more present at times, whether it might be a family meal or even at work sometimes if we have some type of a function. Excuse me, I'm not really focused on what I'm going to eat or if people are watching me, because I just don't have that pull anymore. And especially most importantly, with my fiance, just I can remember being out at dinners at times, and I was so focused on what I might order or how I was feeling in my jeans that I wasn't even hearing what he was saying. And that did not make me feel good. And all of that has completely transformed because I'm just far more present because I'm not focusing on food and my body. I mean, it's not that I'm not focusing on it, I'm not obsessing about it, maybe is a better way to say it.
Yeah, yeah. So like you can still make your decisions around food or
Yeah.
whatever that might be, but you're not spiraling in your mind about how your genes feel, how your body looks, what you're going to eat, what you're not going to eat, the bread on the table, not to eat the bread on the table, all of
Yes,
that.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Well, this has been amazing, Nancy. I so appreciate you for doing this and just for like being on this journey and watching you grow. It's been really incredible. Before we kind of sign off for the day, is there anything else that you want to share or have to say?
Um,
And it's okay if there's not. I just wanted to check
yeah.
in.
No, I actually wrote a couple things down. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, and I think, some of my ahas along the way, one big one too, and you speak about this a lot in some of the FAQs and stuff that go along with the modules, is I was afraid to accept myself where I am, or, going out and buying some new clothes that I felt comfortable in, because I felt like if I did that, then I was accepting where my body was and it would never change. And you said something along the way that, acceptance is the precursor to change. So that's something that has really stuck with me. That's one thing. And then the other thing too is just, partnering with my higher self. And
Mm.
that's, I just went through module 8 earlier this week, and, working through and partnering with my higher self has just been something that has resonated with me as well, just to help me continue on the journey.
I love that. Yeah, like really joining forces with the true you, like the you that knows how to eat and how to live and how to move and all of that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's been wonderful. So thank you.
Yeah, you are so welcome, Nancy. Thank you for doing this interview. I think there's so much tangible tips, right? Like things people can apply. And then just you're such an inspiration. You went all in. You have incredible results. I can honestly, I'm a good. I've been doing this a while, 10 plus years. I've helped thousands of women.
Yeah.
Like, I know this is it for you. You know, I know you're not going back, and I feel that. And I'm so happy for you. And I think that's just incredible. So yes, hats off to you for really going in and just having this incredible transformation.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So welcome. So awesome. So we'll sign off with this interview. And thank you again, Nancy. It's been great.